Hello, everybody. Hello from Clayton, New York, at the Lucky Star Ranch. I'm actually at a hunting ranch. That's where we had the class this last week, or these last 3 days, and it's been a wonderful workshop. And they have enough Wi-Fi, so we can actually do this tonight. And so tonight we're going to toast with a local. Actually, it's a hard cider. A raspberry hard, where are you? A raspberry hard cider. So cheers everybody to a raspberry hard cider from Syracuse, New York. So tomorrow I'm going to be at the art store in Syracuse, New York. I'll be there around 11:30 to meet and greet, I guess they call them. And then afterwards we'll be doing a painting demonstration of, I think we're going to be doing black paper, Stonehenge black paper. And we're also going to be doing Yupo, and that's at the art store, and that's Friday the 13th. Ooh, Friday the 13th, all right. So meet me there if you're in the area, Utica people, Syracuse people, anywhere around the central New York, right? So let's see what this tastes like. This is a local beer in Syracuse, or not beer, a hard cider. Hard cider, I thought I'd give it a hard cider today. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, okay, that's number 10. That's very good. Very good for hard cider. Actually, it tastes good. I like the hard ciders that are not all apple, so that's pretty cool. A raspberry. Anyway, and actually, though I think there is some apple in it, but there must be some raspberry taste into it. Anyways, so let's get going here. So we're going to be there on Friday. Tomorrow we're going to be at the Syracuse Art Store, and then on Saturday, that's Friday, and Saturday we're going to be at the Hyatt Art Store. It's the Hyatt store that has art supplies, and that's going to be in Buffalo, New York, and that's around noon. We're going to be around noon doing the demonstration there. So hey Mary, hey Sonia, hey Barbara, Sue, Mark, hey Mark twice. There you go. So I'm sorry I put it on late this week. I didn't know we were going to have enough Wi-Fi to have this work. But they do have enough Wi-Fi at this hunting ranch, and so there's no hunters right now. There's no hunting going on. But if you right around me, there's a bunch of elk, deer, and all kinds of stuff in this room. And so let's get going here. So today, for anybody who's new, I'm normally not in this area, but go to my website and find out everything that's happening with me. So right now, you can see that. Down here that I'm going to be doing the demonstrations at the Syracuse, New York, August 13th, and August 14th I'm in Buffalo, New York at the Hyatt Art Store. And so that's really going to be really cool. And today, of course, we're doing this beautiful scene that I took. Actually, I took the shot the other day. I think on Monday we took a shot down by the Marina, and so that's what we're doing today. And so we're using my photograph. It's my photograph, not from Unsplash or anything. And go ahead and use it all you want. And hello Barbie, hello Monica, hello Lynn, hello Debbie. Thanks for stopping by. I'm glad everybody got the news. Because in my newsletter, I normally put it in my newsletter, but I didn't have time this week because I had no idea what I was going to be doing, if I was doing plein air or if we're doing it in the studio. And so we're doing it in the studio. And for all those people who don't know my supplies, here are my supplies. Holbein, of course, Holbein, all the stuff I use, Holbein and Legion papers with the Stonehenge Aqua and my brushes. All right, so let's go to the value study right away. And the value study, I just make a black and white photo of, and so that's really cool. And so this is gonna be a very simple, nice little marina scene. I love doing boats, and I got some incredible shots. Hello Mel, hello Debbie, Lynn. And so we're gonna be going right to our tabletop, and so here we go. And let me take another sec of this raspberry hard cider. This is really good. The only problem we've had, the only problem in here we had in the last 3 days was that the temperature was super, super hot here in New York State, in the central New York State. Wow, it was just really, really warm. We did have air conditioners, but it was hard to keep up with the air conditioner, to keep up with everything. So what we're going to do is, you can see right here, where we're going to do this sun scene. We're going to have the sun right in the middle, actually not in the middle, but on the side over here. We're going to put the sun in, and then we're going to reflect it into the water. Again, use whatever colors you like. I don't recommend always a certain kind of color, because you're looking for the correct value. So this is going to be our light value. So our composition here today is that the background and the water, the sky and the water, are our lights. And parts of the boats are our lights, but mostly the boats are the dark. In this building here, the garage that they have at this thing, they're going to put that in there too. And so, hey Ann, hey Mill, hey Debbie. Boy, we got a lot coming in. People are coming today. Maybe I should always post it late. And so here, have fun with this one. I mean, I love doing boat scenes. So this is going to be super, super fun. I was thinking of maybe using an airbrush to get this really circle, but you know, a lot of you don't have airbrushes. And so I'm just going to show you how to do it without an airbrush. And actually I can wet the whole paper first. And before we do anything, I'm just going to wet the whole paper. I'm going to wet around the sun because the sun has to be white of the paper. You can't put white in there to make it brighter than, you know, the sun. You don't want to put yellow in there because that's not brighter than white. Yellow is going to be around that, but I'm just going to start out with the paper wet. If you need to put some color into your paper while, I'm going to just grab a little bit of that. It was a little dirty right there. I'm just going to rub that out of there. I'm just going to go right through the boats. Come down here and also ask questions for anybody that's new, you know. Ask questions in the chat and I'll look over there every once in a while and see if you have any good questions. Even if they're bad questions, I will answer them. So we're going to come down here and just wet everything. And since it is so hot here, it's probably going to... it's kind of muggy too, and so it's going to dry pretty quickly, I think. Can't see where. Let me see where the light is. Oh man, I made it. There's a small little spot of dry. So I'm going to go out there first with the yellow. I'm going to go around here with the yellow. And there's my sun. I'm going to put it right in there, right into the painting, right smack dab in this side of the painting here. Okay, let's see. Don't want to make it too big, and I don't want to make it too yellow like that. That's like super, super yellow. But that's okay. We're gonna let that bleed out a little bit, and I get a piece of paper towel so I can keep that. And so I'm just gonna rub this out a little again. See, they get a nice sun right there. And so we're gonna go over here. And now we're going to go from that to an orange. I'm going to go from that to an orange. It was a sunset kind of. It was still high in the sky, but it was just burning all this beautiful color into the sky. And so we'll go from that down, we'll add a little bit of orange down here. It maybe look a little bit different because I don't have my regular lighting system that I have on when I'm at home. But we're making do with what we have, and I couldn't do it outside. I guess I could have done it outside, but then I'm not sure how the Wi-Fi works out there. And so we're gonna go here, put a little bit of the color in there. I have a little bit of the purple or the orange stuck into my brush, so that's how I'm getting this little bit of orange across this. I'm gonna put some of this yellow into the boat, like the side of the boat, or just in the windshields of the boat. And then on the top here, I'm going to go with a little bit of violet from the yellow, because you don't want to put blue next to the yellow, because what will you get? Green. We don't want green. And I actually never ask anybody, or because usually when I'm doing this, can you guys hear me? I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. So just somebody let me know if the sound is okay, because I had to set everything up. So we're going to go with a little bit of blue and the purple a little bit higher up. Or do I need to talk louder? Just let me know, because it's a new setup. The drawing I did, I just sketched it actually from the photo. I could have done it out there, but I didn't. I was here and I just sketched it last night when I found out that I could do this live. I didn't know if I could do it live or if I had to, you know, if I got enough Wi-Fi, but when I found out I could, then I just went through my photos. And I decided to do this one, and it was a nice picture, I thought, and so I just drew it up last night. Drew it up out of just from the photo. But I was there. This is my photo. Like I said, I was there, and I saw this image, and it was really nice, and so I thought, yep, we got to do this one. So here I'm going with the violet, blue to violet, and then down to the yellow. I want it burning. I want this to really burn the sun. I want this to sun. I mean, look at how that in the photograph right here. Where is it? Right there, right? The photograph. Look at how it's just is so bright and stuff. And so I really want to kind of make that look. I want to get that look of it's just burning right there. And so I'm going to take a little bit of orange and burn it around this area. I don't use a yellow next to a blue because you're going to get green in the sky then. So what I do is I just use a violet, and the orange and violet do make it kind of a gray violet, but that's okay because I'd rather have that than the green in the sky. You know me with green, I just don't like green. And so I got a little bit of reflection there, don't I? So we're going to turn it sideways like this so you can see it a little bit more. Take a little bit of yellow, and I cleaned my palette out a little bit today, only because I want to get some fresh colors out of this, so I cleaned it a little bit. We did like about 6 paintings in this class, so my palette got pretty dirty this week. Somebody asked, Mary asked how to get the photo or the sketching. I did a video on that. There's a couple different things you can do to get the drawing onto it. One is to take the transfer paper and first go and get your picture blown up at like an Office Max or something like that. Get that blown up and then take it to the Office Max, have it blown up to about 1117. Most quarter sheets, you know, whatever size you're working, make sure that you get the black and white. Make a black and white of it. Have them make a black and white of your photo, and then use the transfer paper. Put the black side down to that board and to the paper, and then just trace the image. Trace the main lines, like around the boats and stuff and around that. So take this image, you know, you can get it blown up at like an Office Max or a printing shop. And you can do it because I'm allowing you, this is my photo, but I'm allowing you to do it. And just print it, and then go ahead and see if you can't transfer it with transfer paper. Not graphite paper. Graphite paper tends to be very sloppy, and you get a lot of the graphite on the thing. But I use transfer paper, and I do it lightly if you don't want it, because you can't really erase it. But that's the way you're getting your image onto the paper. Now for the waves down here, I'm going to go from the pinkish orange salmon color to the violet color to the blue color. Because on the top I do have blue, so I'm going to take the light blue, put that here. So we get a rainbow of color down here. And then what I'll do to make the waves, I'll just make little waves. You know, these are the long, elongated waves. And you can see in the image, in the photo, there are a few little waves in there. It's not rippled. It's not rippled because if it's rippled, a lot of times you don't get the reflections as much. We just talked about that in class today, that when it's rippled, when it's very little ripples, you don't get much reflection because you're picking up the sky more and you don't really see the reflections from a distance. You know, the distant areas, you don't see reflections that much into the water. Here there's a little ripples, but we'll get those. Those will be enough. We can get enough of those. And so right now what I'm doing is I'm getting the bigger waves. I'm getting like the big, long waves in there. So I'm just putting them in with horizontal lines. Thanks guys for the sound check. I just wanted to make sure that you guys can hear me. If I gotta talk louder, let me know. And so here we go with a little bit of, see those are little waves. And now I kind of lost a little bit of the yellow in the water though, so let me just take a little bit of that out and put a little bit of yellow in here because I want to get a little bit of yellow from the sky in here. A little yellow and a little bit of orange. Yeah, and another way you can do it is get yourself a projector. If you're not a good drawer at first, but you do want to do some nice watercolors, because you really, number one is drawing. I mean, you have to have a good drawing. If you don't have a good drawing, you're not going to have anything. I mean, I can teach you how to do the watercolor, but if you don't have a good drawing on there, then it defeats the purpose of doing a nice watercolor. You need to have a good drawing. I freehanded this one. Sometimes I even use myself. I use a projector. A projector is something that is electronic, and you can plug it in, and it projects the image onto the wall or onto like your paper that you mount on the wall. Some of them have it on a stand that you can put it down on a table. There's all different kinds of things you can do. It's pretty hot in here, so cheers, guys. Wow, that's a really good hard cider. Very good hard cider. No, definitely a 10. That's a really good hard cider. 1911 raspberry hard cider. from Beck and Skiff Brewery probably. All right, so now we've got this pretty much the background sky done. We've got the foreground water pretty close. It's starting to blend together though, because that's what happens when it gets really, when you're not using a real lot of pigment. So I'm gonna go back in here and get a little bit more of the waves again. Maybe use a little bit of ultramarine with my light blue, horizon blue, just so I have a little bit darker down here, because you can see in the photograph it's a little bit darker in the foreground. Sometimes when you do these shots with the water, you can see into the water depending on how deep the water is. Sometimes you can even see rocks depending if you're doing a shoreline. Not this one is a little bit deeper, so you're not going to see anything inside the water. I just want to get a little bit more of the waves. See how I'm getting the waves like this? So tomorrow at the Syracuse store, we may be able to also do it live on YouTube, but I would love to see you there instead of seeing it live on YouTube. I'm not sure if we can do it yet, but we may be able to do it and save it, so you may be able to see that too. Because I'm going to be working on black paper and on Yupo paper with acrylic inks and some opaque watercolor on the black paper, and maybe some gouache, acrylic gouache. And so that's happening tomorrow, and then on Saturday. If you can't make it in Syracuse, go to Buffalo, New York, and at the High Art store and get to see it there. All right, so that's hopefully the sky is dry. No, it's not dry. So what I'm going to do, I do have a hairdryer here because I knew that this is going to be one shot, and basically I have to get that right, and then I have to wait until it dries. So I do have my little quiet hairdryer that I'm just going to put on it real quick, and so let's just let me just at least get the sky in the center here. So ask some questions, guys. Oh, somebody just asked me about the sun reflection. Yes, Mill, good idea. Thank you for reminding me before I try that. That's a very good suggestion. Holy smokes, I almost forgot that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mill. I almost forgot that. Yeah, I'm just going to pull it out with my brush here. I probably should have done it a different way, but I'm just going to pull it out with my brush. And I noticed that there is like little dots. See the little dots right here? Little dots of light. I pretty sure went around that, or put a little bit of mask white on there. I don't want to do it with white paint, because if I do it with white paint, it's not going to be as bright as the white of the paper. So you can do it with that, but good suggestion and good catch. So I'm just going to pull out. It's still wet, this area, so I'm going to pull out with a damp brush. I'm just going to pull out the water. Now I may get a little bit of a hard edge right there because I'm pulling out the water, because you know me, when you get a soft edge, you get it with water. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out, but then I'm going to put clean water back in there so that I still get the soft edges, and it's not going to turn hard edged. So I'm putting back water into it now. You can make it go a little bit lighter. See, so thank you. Oh man, I must have missed that. Oh boy. See, I'm just too much on my mind with tomorrow. So here we go. We're going to make a little yellow around there, because around the sun is a little bit yellow, right? So I'm just going to put a little yellow around this part. Good catch. Hey, Pam from Wheaton. I'm just going to go in here, get a little bit of the orange around that. So there's my reflection. And I will put in some lighter colors in here too. Why not? I might as well put in a little pink, because it is bright right down here. So I'm putting in a little pink and with a little bit of orange. And people are very surprised that I use a lot of colors with white in them. A lot of watercolorists, don't believe in doing opaques. They don't like opaques, but I use opaque colors that have white in them, but I use them transparently, so it becomes like a transparent color. I just don't use it solid like a gouache. And it isn't a gouache, it is a watercolor. Boy, you saved me there, Mel. Thanks so much. Good job. Toast to Mel. Everybody, toast to Mel. All right, so that's why you guys are here too. Always, if you see something I'm doing wrong, please let me know. And so now I'm gonna get the background. I'll get the background back there. There's a way in a distance. I'm not gonna make it as dark as it is, so I'm gonna use more of the orange. Like there's trees back there, but with the aerial perspective, I'm going to kind of go back there and just put that in there, like a little bit of the trees. I'm using a dirty orange with the pink. And I know the trees are probably green back there, but because of this really bright orange sky, it's just going to engulf it with aerial perspective. I can go right into this area because that's going to be dark. That thing's going to be really dark. So I'm working my way forward. These boats back here, when it is dry, and nope, see, I put my finger in it. So let me just turn off the sound real quick and use my hairdryer again, unless somebody finds something else I didn't do. So let me just dry this real quickly, and just dry in the middle here. This is actually not a hair dryer. It's a embossing heat tool. It gets really, really hot. So it's an embossing tool, I guess. I'm not sure what they use that for, but that's what I use. But it's a little bit quieter, so that I don't get this big, huge, howling hair dryer going. Okay, sorry about that, but gotta dry it somehow and get it done quick. Okay, so now we got that dry, and now I can go back in and get those a little bit darker. And then I'm gonna make my boats back there. I'm gonna make them not quite as dark as you see them right here. See how dark they are right there? I'm not gonna do them that dark because I wanna push them a little bit farther back. So I will make them like a little bit lavender and stuff. I'll put them back there, but I will not get as dark as it is in the water until I get over to here. So I'm just going to go in there with a lavender and get the bottom of the boats. Use a little pink in there too, because again, the sky would be engulfing that area too. And I'm not putting in the reflection of the waves yet. I'm just getting the section of the boat to look like a boat. And since it is small, I'm going to use my small round brush. Use my number 8 round brush. And just go in there and get the details of the boats back there. And there's this little pier right there. That'll be a little bit darker though. The pier will be a little bit darker on that side. Now, let me look at this a little bit closer. Let me just take a quick look at this image here. Hold on one second. Let's see what this looks like back there. So see that you can see there's a boat, and it's pretty much just a little light. And so we'll just make that nice, and we'll keep that, that way it helps me to see what I can see there. All right, so we can kind of go in here and see what that boat was. It was windshield, and then the bottom of this boat. Let's see, what did everybody saying? It's used to dry embossing powder when using rubber stamps. Oh, thanks, Mary. It's a great hair dryer, or it's a great dryer for watercolor paper too, because it's quiet. It's nice and quiet, and it's really hot. I've heard that some people use the dryers that dog groomers use, which are quieter because dogs don't like the noise. Oh, that's cool too. I know they sell some in the art store that are really quiet, like these really quiet ones for artists, but they're super expensive. And I might as well get one like that that's super hot, but it's not so expensive. I found it actually at a garage sale, and I didn't know what an embosser thing was, so thanks, Mary. And so we're gonna go here and just get these darks in here and make the middle tones. I'm not getting any darks yet. As I come forward, I'm gonna get a little bit darker and darker as I go along. And I'm making this kind of the colors that's back there, and leaving some of the white, of course, so I can leave the white of the boats. And I get a little bit darker as I come forward. I get a little bit darker, but the black parts, the really, really dark parts, I'm gonna save that for when I'm doing the details. And even the water, the reflections in the water, I'm saving that for the details. I'm getting in here first and getting the big, big darks, the medium darks, not the dark darks, not the detailed darks. But look at the shadow on my hand, how dark that is. Boy, I guess I'm using a really intense light here today. So here we go with a little lavender and the blue. Use what the colors that you used around here and on top as your darker colors, because that's what you want to use. You don't want to all of a sudden introduce a color that's not something that you used already. It's basically when you're talking color, you do a color complements. You know, you complement each other, these colors, and then use a color scheme that all matches each other. You know, the colors, all these colors are yellow, orange, enough. That's a color scheme on that side of the color wheel. And so I'm going to use those throughout the painting now, because that's what I used in the beginning. So when you're doing the first wash, that's color and lights. When you're doing your lights, you're pretty much setting up what your colors are going to be. So here's the top of the boat. And I'm going around, like here, around the sailboat, because the sailboat is the main center of interest. That sailboat is what you want everybody to see. So I'm going to put a little bit of orange in here, underneath here a little bit. And you know me, once you put the pigment down, once you put a wash down, it's wet, float your pigment in there. Float. I don't want to see just one color. You want to put a couple colors in there so that it looks very watercolor-like, and it's a lot of different colors in there. Because in reality, in life, you don't have just one color there. You're going to be having a bunch of colors there. Now the side of this boat is, the top of this boat and the side of the top here is light. So I'm going to make sure that I keep the parts that are important light, because I need to have that look like the sun is hitting the side of the boat. So that's important to keep light. Now I'll use a little bit more darker purple now, because now I've got to get things a little bit darker and more in contrast. So I'm going over here, get that, the back of the boat. And I am working kind of detailish. Is that a word? Detailish? But I'm working a little bit more detailed because I don't have anything else to do. I mean, the sky is done, the water's done. So it's time to do my darks. But my darks, I first start out with my medium darks and go to my dark detailed darks. So it's a pretty simple painting, but I have to make sure that I do it the right way. I have to make sure that I don't get too much of the darks in there before I start getting my middle tones. I'm going to get my light colors in there. And so we're going to go across here. This is not my detailed darks. Again, I'm doing my mediums. So I look close. I should, and when you're painting, you know, try to get a big reference so you can see what's happening on these small little areas on the boat and stuff, because it's hard to see if I'm looking at a monitor and it's very small what I see on the monitor. So get yourself a nice big monitor, blow up that picture so you can see all the details that you need to get in there. And so this actually goes back like this. I can go across this building right here because the building will be darker, so I'm just going to go across that. And then the side of this boat looks like it's a little bit darker. And again, once I get it, I just use one color there, but that means I'm going to go in here now and get some other colors. Get a little bit of the orange again, a little orange, because the sky has a lot of orange in it, so we're going to reflect a lot of that orange into the boat, into the shadow of the boat. Oh, that's the pier. Don't want to do the top of the pier is light, so pull that out there real quick. Let's see, is anybody asking questions? I've heard that some people use. Are these paint-alongs recordings available to watch again? Yep, they're. Hey, Barbara. Yes, they're available forever. So once I get done here, it's going to be saved on YouTube. And you can go back to them as many times as you want, stop it. And actually you can stop it right now too. If you're painting along, you can stop it while I'm painting, and you'll just not have it live. You'll be one step behind a little bit. So, but you can still ask questions about, I'm going to keep on going. But you can stop the video when it's live too. And it'll just keep on going, and then when you get back, it'll still be live until the end, until I stop it, but you're not going to be at the same live when I'm going to be on. You're just a little bit behind then. So now I'm going to go in here and do the side of the seawall, or this pier here. Again, this is not my darks, this is my mediums. I'm going to put a little bit darks in there after I put my medium parts in. I've got my color scheme, that's what you do when you put in your lights. And I'm just getting in there to put in my middle tones. And you notice that a lot of them are the same colors, because I know it's just, you need to have a lot of these same colors to be there. Otherwise it's going to look odd that if you all of a sudden start putting a real bright red there. And what would that look like? If that boat was real bright red, it would just look odd unless I have some red somewhere else. So you just have to watch out what you're doing when you're coming with your colors, your color scheme. And basically just leave it those colors that you're using. Now I'll put this over here. This is kind of a black dark thing. And when I put my darks in, it's going to be really dark. I mean, I do want to have some really dark darks, but not yet, not yet. I have to get these middle tones in there and just get them all worked out. All right, and so here we have that. And so now I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to get my darks. And so we're that far already. So it's pretty simple once you get your way of painting, light, medium, dark, and do big areas. And then now I've got to do little areas because all the light areas that are big are done. And now I'll get my big darks, and then I'll go to my small detail darks. So that's I do that with every painting. I do that in that order because it's the best way of doing it. And now look at how the side of these boats already have a little bit of light, so the sun's hitting that side of the boat. I can see that. I can put any color in here to kind of go in the background. Maybe in the background we're going to put a couple other things back here. Maybe there's another boat back here with another sailboat back here. Even though there isn't one right there, I think we should put another sailboat thing right there. I am going to put in the mast of the boat. I could do it with many things that make straight edge lines. I could use the ruling pen. I can use this thing I talked today about in class. It's a henna tattoo squeezer bottle. You can use those to make lines. I don't have one with me right at the moment, otherwise I'll show you, but one of these days I'm going to do a little video on that too. I'm just using my rigger and just putting the line real nice and straight. So hopefully you have a steady hand to do that. Do this. This is one of the. This is probably one of the sails going up here. The jib, is that the jib? I think. Okay. And so we're gonna do this with a couple of these little lines up here. That's a little bit detailed. It's my detailed darks, but it's not my super darks yet, and it's not. I'm still gonna go in there with the super darks and get my big areas done. Let me just put in this because this is dry right now, and so let me put in my building because that's a big dark. I know it's the darkest dark in the picture, but that's okay. I want to establish my dark. I want to see how dark I need to get. So I'm going to use a little bit of permanent violet, maybe a little bit of this brown, this Middelzone brown. Say that 3 times fast. So I'm going in here dry. I want a hard edge, so I'm doing it dry. And let's see, you have to lift it up a little bit so you guys can get a reflection. And bringing it down. And since it's so dark, I can, I don't have to make it look like something. Like it's just all dark in there. So I know that it goes back here around this area. And then it goes down, like the wall goes down. And actually you can see that pole in front of that. So I'm going to float some pigment in there now. Just going to make it a little darker, float some a little bit darker pigment in there. And just make it where you really can't see what's in there, but there's something in there. There's a little brushwork that looks like something. So it's a bunch of something that's dark. You don't need to know what everything is in the painting. You just need to know that it's a bunch of something. And we're going to go like this. Bring it over. And there is a pole that goes down there, but watch how I'm going to do that. I'm going to make that something different. That something part is different. And if you put maybe there's a little bit of something textury in there, it's just enough to show. And so I'm holding it up so you guys can see it. So if I put it down, look, you can see nothing but a light. So I'm holding it up here and so that you can see it. Again, this is not my usual lighting system. I'm in the middle of nowhere in Clayton, New York. And I'm at a Lucky Star Ranch, and it's a hunting ranch, and the people that own this also own a chalet restaurant and a distillery. And so I wanted to show you really quickly while this is drying a little bit here. I'm going to show you they also own this St. Lawrence Spirits distillery, and so they gave me a bottle of St. Lawrence Spirits Empire Cream. So we're going to be talking about that maybe one day. We're going to make some, it's almost like, what do you call it, the Irish cream. So it's kind of like that. So we're going to see how they make all kinds of whiskeys and all kinds of hard liquor. And so we're going to see what this tastes like. And I may go back to the distillery one day and see what else they have over there. And the restaurant is supposed to be a really great restaurant, chateau. It's a really cool building. If you ever look it up, the St. Lawrence Distillery Chateau, and that's on the St. Lawrence River near Clayton, New York. This is the second year I've been here, and it's a great group of people. We have a lot of fun, and this year I got to now also do the demonstrations down there in Syracuse, about an hour and a half away. And so we're going to be heading back down there tomorrow morning. So let's go here. Sorry, I got to hold this up. Now let's do the reflections right in the water right away. And they're very dark, and so what I'm going to use is the blue of the water and maybe a little bit of violet and just make it pretty dark. And I'm going to do it like the photograph shows, and I'm not going to use the color of this pole. I'm using the color of the water, which is blue down here, and so I'm just making a really dark blue. And I'm going to just kind of do little squiggly lines. I learned a new term this week, and it's called, what was it? It was a nervous brushstroke. A nervous brushstroke is to do leaves and stuff, and this could also make waves, the nervous brushstroke, so you're shaking. So if you're nervous and shaking, this is a good way of making good brush strokes, because just let your hand be nervous and wipe away and get a bunch of little, see, I'm like nervous, how nervous I am. I'm like, oh boy, look at how nervous I am. So it goes down and you just get these beautiful little lines. So it's a BeckerArt nervous brush stroke. So let's get a little bit of dark in here. And so look at these nice little brush strokes, nice and dark. And then this is the other part here. And make them nice and sharp. The edges should be sharp because the waves make it look nice and sharp. And then we're going to go right into the boat parts, into up back here where the boat is, and we're going to go right into that right away. And just come down, go around the boat. And these are reflections, they're not shadows. You can't mistake them. You can't say, a lot of people always say, oh, should I get the shadows? No, these are reflections of actually sometimes I call them shadow reflections, because what's happening is they're kind of shadowed reflections, because otherwise if they were total reflections, this white would be in the water, right? So they're kind of a shadow reflection, I like to call them. Because otherwise you'd have white reflecting into the water. It's not, it's nice and dark, right? So I am going to put a little bit of color in there, and though I'm going to put a little color of the water, a little bit of blue. And then I'm going to go down here and just make it a little nice and dark. And then of course I'm going to make those a little bit darker yet. And actually this ended up being a little bit too light. See, I'm going to make it a little bit darker. Boy, it's really shining, isn't it? On you guys, sorry about that. How do I get rid of that? I'm going to set it on the beer. Here we got the beer glass will help out. There you go. It's a little bit perspective wise, but we'll put it on there. Actually it's cider, so not beer. So here we go, we're going to go down here, put this little waves in. I'll ask some questions, guys. And so all these little things that I'm going to be putting in here now, I'm going to go back in with some darks and put those in there too. I'm going to get a little bit of blue for this. A lot of these covers for the mast sail are blue, and so I'm going to put that in here too. See, put that in there. I might want to get them really dark because that's what they are in the photo, so I might as well make them nice and dark. Look at all these nice little reflections, isn't that cool? The little wires and everything you see, and there's a lot of posts back here. There's a post, there's a post. Bring it down, post it up. On the side here there's a post, and we'll get that in there. And then we're just going to keep on going back and forth. So if you have a nice twitch, if you twitch a lot, this is a great time for you. I mean, you can just go in here and then just having it. See how I'm going back and forth? I'm really nervous right now. See this? Look at that. I'm even putting the boom on. And then I'm going to put a little bit darker for the mass here. Oh boy, I'm not going very straight. Can't talk and do the straight line at the same time. So here we go, and then we're going to put the jib. Alright, and a little bit of this darker again. When it comes to the lines, like the wires, that I'm either going to put in with a ruler or with a pencil line. I'm not going to try to even accomplish that with my hand, because and with the brush, it's just too hard. Here, there's a little bit of wording on the back of the boat. And we got the steering. And then we got the little thing down going below. We got some windows. Then we're going to go over here, and this boat has a nice windshield. That's dark, and then below that is just a nice dark. Go behind the side here. On the windshield and or the windows on the side, there's just going to be little dots. It's coming together, right? Look at this. It's just going to come together here. Go inside the boat. Get this boat in there. A little railing on the boat. So a lot of times people ask, what do I paint? What do I paint? And I always tell my students the best thing to paint is things you know and love the most. If you love boating, get out there and take a bunch of pictures of them, sketch out there, really learn what it's all about. Learn what your favorite things are about, and then it'll be very easy to paint because you know things like a jib, and everything about the thing that you're painting. I mean, I don't know exactly everything about that, but I mean, close. I love to do the sailing. I love going out there. And so, I mean, it just makes me feel good when I'm out there and hear those little chinking chains and stuff on the dock, and the seagulls all with their sounds and stuff. The sound of the marina is just amazing. Yeah, so stuff like that really helps you and get excited about painting it and stuff. And I just love these reflections and stuff. I mean, isn't that cool? I mean, this reflection, look at these, cool. And they go down like this, and they just kind of come down. And when I see it, a lot of times I just get so excited I have to get down there. I have to get down there and walk around and get these pictures because I know they're going to be so cool when I get down there and the sun is at that level, and you're like, oh man, we got to get down there and just take a bunch of pictures. Now there's no reflections in the picture of this, but I'm going to put them in there anyways. Over here there's smaller reflections, and they're a little skinnier because it's farther away. So I'm just going to wisp back and forth, wisp, whisk, whisk, or wisp, wisp, maybe wisp them. And then I'm going to just put a little bit darks in there. Ropes, you can put ropes all around. I love putting ropes around. And then just maybe darken a couple of the windshields and wires and ropes, definitely ropes all around. When you've been to enough of these marinas and you paint them enough, you know what all the things are without even having to look at the picture, because I know what's on the side of the boat is the railing that goes around, and then luckily, hopefully you've drawn it like it is in the photo, and that way you can just go ahead and draw and paint. I mean, go ahead and paint, and if it's not like that on that particular boat, who cares? You know that usually it is. And so now this boat, I'm going to have a set of windshield here, or the windows go along the edge and the back. The lines. And then this little thing here, this has to come out a little bit farther. All right, Sue. Sue says Sue says boats are alien to her, but give it a shot. Give it a shot. When it comes to classes, it's good to. I mean, I always bring everything so that you can learn, because you never know what people like in classes and stuff. So give it a shot. And if today one of the students, Christina here, she didn't like doing landscapes or certain things, flowers, and we did those. But she gives it a shot, and she tried it, and because you learn on everything you paint, you learn something. So especially when you're taking a course, it's good to just try different things, because you may find out that you like it, or maybe you don't like it. So you'll never do it again, or you may do it again. So it's all good, just try different things, try different papers, try different teachers. Definitely try different teachers. Everybody may teach a little bit differently on different things. And so here I'm gonna put this little reflection in there. Let's see how this is looking. Not too bad. So this has to be a little bit darker. I'm going to just get my brush real quick. Just come down here like this. Of course that'll be dark again. I'll take the tape off later. Now let's look a little bit better. I'll make it really dark on this side of it. And then maybe the rooftop can be a little bit darker. Alright, so that looks okay. Now, what else we need in here? I think a few more masts up here. I think I like to see a lot of masts back here, so I'm gonna put a couple more lines going up in the back, just because a lot of these places have a lot of sailboats. Maybe not this one, but now it does. Putting the ropes and stuff, and maybe there's a flag out there on one of these. And now the only thing left to do is put a couple bit of ropes around and make some really intense dark darks. I like to use, I call these dark highlights. They're like little super dark black, instead of making super dark white or super white and for highlights like on a nose and stuff, I do the opposite. I do super dark black and like crevices and stuff, and I call them dark highlights because then all of a sudden you look at that spot a little bit more like you do with a white highlight. See, if I would just do a little bit dark right here, how all of a sudden that makes you look at that area. And maybe even the rope can be a couple of ropes going in there. I'm going to have a rope coming down into the water and then have it go back the other way. And I'm going to do a couple of these coming down here again. And I'm going to put a little bit of the color of the boats now in the water, because there's color on these boats, and so if there's a color on the boat, after you get it down the color of the water, then put in the color of the boat afterwards. That was a little harsh, but I'm just going to put a little bit of that orange that's on top of the boat. I'm going to put that in the bottom here. And this back of this boat has some blue. I'm going to put some more intense blue like on the bottom of this boat, and so what I'm going to do is then put that in the water too. So at the bottom of this boat, I'm going to give it a little bit of the bottom of this boat blue, a little blue line, and then I'm going to put that blue into the water too. And it could even be a little bit lighter blue just so that it kind of reflects, and there we go. All right, I think we're close to done here, guys. Oh my God, that was pretty fast, right? And what time is it? What time? How much time do we have? Oh my gosh, 7:17. All right, ask question, guys. I'm not going to put those lines in there, like I said, because I need a ruler. I don't have a new ruler with me right at the moment. I want to make them straight. I don't want to, you can ruin really a lot of paintings by putting in these little details and not getting it to look super perfectly straight, and make them too thick a line. I mean, that line is so thin. I'll take a pencil and I'll just take a ruler, and actually that's what I kind of almost did. I don't even need a ruler, just a pencil line would be working. Or you can actually use a watercolor pencil too, and sharpen it nice and sharp, and then just go in there and make the nice sharp edge that you need, a nice sharp line, a nice sharp skinny line, not these big huge thick lines. And there, we got that. All right, so let me look what it looks like without the tape, and we'll be done, guys. Oh my gosh, that was fast. So here we go. Any more questions? Is the water on the right towards the horizon white? Oh, yeah. Probably shouldn't have it white, should I? It looks a little bit too light. Thank you. Who was that? Pamela, thanks for that. I'm gonna turn that a little. That's a little bit too white right there. Yeah, that's a good again show. Boy, you guys are saving me today. So thank you. I'm gonna make that. I'm not gonna make that blue. I'm gonna make it the pinkish orange, the salmon color. I'm gonna go in here and put it there, and make them the reflections that color too, because that's the color of the water. So I can go in there and get a little bit of that color right away into the water, get those reflections in there. This boat can be a little bit more of that color. So that's good. Yeah, thank you. That's a good thing now, because it also gives me a chance to show where the sunlight's going down there. It's breaking that up a little bit. Make these a little bit darker. I think in here too, that's a little bit too light. All right, thanks guys. Another good catch. You caught me today. Thank you so much. So here we go. Boy, it's getting dark out now. It's actually, what is it? 8:30 here today, or 8:18 here. We're an hour ahead of Central Standard Time, so I had to do it a little bit later than normal here in the city, or here in Clayton. And so let me just take the tape off, and we'll see what it looks like without the strange light on it, so everything's blurry. Let's see. And I don't have two of them because I didn't have a class today with this. So I didn't get a chance. This is it. You guys are the guinea pigs today. All right. See, there we go. So there it is, guys. Let's cheer on to the to the nice little marina scene. And so give it a nice simple shot. Put it on my Facebook page, and we'll all take a look at it. And thanks for doing that, by the way, too. And thanks for anybody who donates to these workshops. I know a couple of you have donated, so thank you very much, guys. Thanks so much for doing a little donation. It helps out a lot. Let me tell you, it helps out super much. So there you go. There's tonight's, and we will see you in Syracuse tomorrow, or I will see you next Thursday. Yeah, next Thursday we are not going to be anywhere, so I will have another one next Thursday. And if you have anything that you want painted, let me know. Just certain things you want painted and learn how to do, let me know. All right? So cheers, guys. See you next Thursday. Bye-bye.